Welcome back, Lincoln currency. In the vast world of American coinage, every small copper-colored disc carries with it a piece of the nation's history, identity, and artistry. Among the billions of coins circulating in the modern era, few attract as much curiosity as the humble 1-cent coin, the Lincoln cent, especially those bearing the Denver Mint's D mark. The 2018 D penny, though seemingly ordinary to the untrained eye, has sparked endless fascination among collectors, historians, and treasure hunters who believe that even a coin as recent as this could hold secrets, minting mysteries, and stories of unimaginable value. The 2018 D 1-cent coin was struck in the Denver Mint, one of the primary mints of the United States. By 2018, the Lincoln cent had already been in continuous production for more than a century, first appearing in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, the design evolved from the classic wheat ears reverse to the Lincoln Memorial, and later to the modern Union Shield design, which graces the 2018 issues. That small D beneath the date tells a story of geography and craftsmanship, symbolizing the Denver Mint's long role in mass-producing circulating coinage for the American economy. Each 2018 D cent weighs approximately 2.5 grams. It is made of copper-plated zinc, a composition that has defined the penny since 1982, when the mint shifted away from nearly pure copper because of rising material costs. The coin's diameter measures 19.05 millimeters, and it has a plain edge, lacking reading or inscription. The metal composition, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, gives the coin its distinctive reddish luster when new, although in circulation it quickly dulls to a brown or spotted tone. Yet even this small shift in color can captivate collectors who examine surface tones for signs of originality, mint luster, and preservation. The obverse design continues Victor David Brenner's immortal portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Brenner's initial design, chosen in 1909, marked the first time a real historical figure had appeared on an American coin intended for general circulation. Over the years, Lincoln's portrait was refined through technological advancements, yet its essence remained the same, a steady, resolute image of leadership and humility. Above Lincoln's head arches the motto, "In God We Trust," while the word "Liberty" appears to the left and the date, 2018. With the small D mint mark lies to the right. On the reverse, the Union Shield represents strength, unity, and the enduring bond of the states under one nation. Designed by Lyndall Bass and sculpted by Joseph Mena, this reverse first appeared in 2010 as part of the continuation of the Lincoln cent following the 2009 bicentennial commemorative designs. The shield bears 13 vertical stripes joined under a horizontal bar, a nod to the 13 original colonies bound together in one federal union. Across the shield's banner is the inscription, "E pluribus unum," meaning, "Out of many, one." The word 1 cent is boldly engraved on the shield's face, while "United States of America" frames the top. It is an elegant yet modern design, simpler than the Lincoln Memorial reverse it replaced, yet deeply symbolic of national unity. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins in 2018, a testament to the enormous demand for cents in commerce even in the age of digital payments. For many Americans, the 2018 D penny would have passed unnoticed through cash registers, pockets, and vending machines. But for coin enthusiasts, each coin minted carries subtle variations, minor die cracks, doubled lettering, off-center strikes, and other minting anomalies that can turn an everyday coin into a prized collectible. When examining the potential for extraordinary value, one must understand that the numismatic market often thrives on rarity, error, and condition. A standard 2018 D penny in average circulated condition is worth exactly 1 cent. In uncirculated condition, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, it might fetch a few dollars at most. However, certain error types can elevate the coin's worth exponentially. For instance, a 2018 D cent with a dramatic die clash, a double die obverse, or a major off-center strike could command hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, depending on how visible and rare the error is. Collectors are always on the lookout for these anomalies, as each represents a small glimpse into the mechanical process of coinage, moments when pressure, heat, and misalignment create unintentional art. Yet the fascination doesn't end there. Stories circulate online and among hobbyists about a supposed 2018 penny sold or valued at $93 million. Such tales, while capturing the imagination, often arise from misunderstanding or deliberate exaggeration. In the world of collectibles, rumors of impossible valuations can spread rapidly, often fueled by viral videos or misinterpreted listings. In truth, no verified record exists of a 2018 penny realizing or being appraised at such an astronomical figure. Still, the allure persists because the idea that an ordinary-looking coin could conceal unimaginable wealth speaks to something timeless in human nature: the dream of discovery, the hope that hidden treasures lie within reach. Even though the official market value remains modest, the 2018 penny holds immense cultural and emotional worth. It connects the present to the legacy of Lincoln himself, a man who rose from humble beginnings to guide a nation through its most perilous times. Each cent minted in his honor serves as a daily tribute to perseverance and unity. Coin collectors know that value extends beyond money. They hold these coins not only as investments but as pieces of art and history. A perfectly preserved 2018 cent graded MS-70, mint state 70, meaning flawless under magnification, could command a premium of $50 to $100 depending on demand and certification scarcity. Such coins represent perfection in minting technology, a reflection of how precision and mass production can coexist. Meanwhile, the Denver Mint itself, founded in 1906, continues to be one of the most productive mints in the world. Its mark adorns billions of coins each year, yet each one still passes through the hands of engravers, machinists, and quality inspectors dedicated to maintaining standards of craftsmanship. The legacy of this mint is as integral to the story of American money as the designs that grace its products. The 2018 penny also marks a point in history when the debate over the future of the cent was growing louder. With production costs exceeding face value and digital transactions becoming dominant, some economists and policymakers argued for eliminating the coin altogether. Still, the Lincoln cent survived, sustained by public attachment and tradition. It remains not merely a token of exchange but a cultural icon, proof that small things can carry great meaning. For those who explore the world of coin collecting, the 2018 penny serves as a perfect entry point. Affordable, accessible, and rich with design detail, it offers new enthusiasts a gateway into the larger universe of numismatics. Many collectors begin by examining rolls of pennies, hunting for mint errors or high-grade examples. The excitement of finding a rare variation among hundreds of ordinary coins mirrors the thrill of archaeology, an excavation of modern artifacts. In pristine mint state, the coin's surfaces shimmer with a brilliant, almost mirror-like luster, showing radial cartwheel patterns when tilted under light. The sharpness of the strike, how well Lincoln's hair details, the bowtie lines, and the shield stripes are rendered, can greatly affect its grade. Minor imperfections, such as contact marks or dull luster, may reduce its appeal, but these small differences teach collectors the subtle language of numismatic grading. The fascination with the 2018 descent grew partly from this spirit of searching. It was the year when digital videos, blogs, and coin hunting channels began showing viewers how to inspect their pocket change under magnification. A flood of images appeared online: coins with faint doubling on Lincoln's date, coins with die cracks running through the shield, coins with tiny extra ridges around the lettering. Most were ordinary, the kind of minor imperfections that appear on millions of coins. But once in a while a truly dramatic example emerged: a cent struck far off center, a coin missing its copper plating on one side, or one struck on the wrong planchet entirely. Those specimens, verified and slabbed by grading services, became the showpieces of modern error collecting. To understand why these errors capture attention, one must appreciate how precisely coins are made. The Denver Mint's presses strike planchets at enormous pressure, hundreds of tons of force, between two engraved dies. A fraction of a millimeter's misalignment, or a fragment of grease on a die can change the way metal flows, leaving doubling or softness in the design. The machines that feed planchets, eject finished coins, and align dies run almost continuously, and the smallest mechanical hiccup can create something visually stunning. Most such pieces are detected and melted before leaving the mint, but a few slip through the inspection systems, entering circulation as accidental art. Professional grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, serve as arbiters of authenticity. When collectors find a promising 2018 descent, they may submit it for certification. The graders examine every surface under magnification, determine whether the error is genuine, and assign a grade based on strike, luster, and preservation. A coin with bright surfaces and no contact marks might earn MS 67 or higher. A flawless piece can receive MS 70, meaning perfect under 10 power magnification. The difference between grades can mean a jump in value from a few dollars to several hundred, especially if the population of high-grade coins is small. The world of online auctions has amplified this effect. A certified 2018 D penny with an impressive strike or unusual die feature might sell for hundreds on eBay or in specialized coin auctions. Each listing, often accompanied by dramatic photography, adds to the legend that extraordinary riches might hide in everyday change. The myth of a $93 million specimen almost certainly began this way: an online rumor, perhaps a typographical error or a misread auction listing that snowballed into viral folklore. Once a story appears with the right combination of numbers and excitement, it takes on a life of its own. For many viewers, the idea that a single cent could rival the value of famous rarities like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair dollar is irresistible. In reality, the most valuable modern Lincoln cents sell for a few $1,000s, usually because of major minting mistakes. A 2018 descent struck on an experimental planchet, for instance, would be a once-in-a-generation find. Experts would test its metal composition, verify its authenticity, and publish their findings in numismatic journals. Even then, its price would reflect rarity and demand, not viral headlines. The $93 million claim remains symbolic, a way of expressing the dream that hidden treasures still exist in plain sight. Yet myths like this serve an unexpected purpose. They draw new people into the hobby. Someone who hears about a supposed multimillion-dollar penny might begin searching through jars of change, learning about mint marks, varieties, and historical design transitions. Curiosity leads to knowledge, and knowledge deepens appreciation. Before long, a casual viewer becomes a collector, then perhaps a scholar of American coinage. Thus, even exaggerated tales contribute to preserving the nation's numismatic heritage. Collectors often describe the pleasure of examining a fresh roll of 2018 D pennies straight from the bank. The coins, brilliant and red, still carried the scent of new metal. Under a magnifying lens, Lincoln's coat folds reveal fine engraving lines. The motto, "In God We Trust," shows delicate serifs, and the Union shield reverse gleams with even fields. Turning the coin in light reveals that classic cartwheel effect, the radial shimmer that distinguishes an uncirculated strike. Searching for perfection becomes almost meditative, a dialogue between human craftsmanship and mechanical precision. Every mark tells a story. A small nick might have come from another coin during bagging. Faint streaks could be from the rolling of zinc sheets before plating. Die polish lines, thin, parallel scratches left when the mint cleaned a die, create patterns that some mistake for doubling. Understanding these nuances is part of the discipline of numismatics. It teaches patience, attention, and respect for detail. The Denver Mint itself embodies this spirit of precision. Situated at the base of the Rocky Mountains, it operates with both industrial scale and artisanal pride. Its heritage dates back to the early 20th century, when gold and silver from western mines poured into the facility for refining and coinage. Over time it became synonymous with mass production, striking billions of coins annually, yet its technicians and engravers continue to uphold a tradition of craftsmanship. Each mint mark stamped onto a die represents not just a location but a legacy of Western industry woven into the nation's monetary fabric. In 2018, as debates over eliminating the cent intensified, Denver's presses still thundered day and night. Advocates for keeping the coin pointed out that the Lincoln cent remains one of the most recognized pieces of U.S. currency worldwide. Its face is a familiar symbol of honesty and endurance. Removing it, they argued, would sever a link between generations. Opponents cited cost and inefficiency, noting that it costs more than 1 cent to produce a cent. The conversation continues, but the 2018 issue stands as proof that tradition still outweighs economics, at least for now. For serious collectors, the thrill lies in documentation. They keep spreadsheets listing each coin's mint mark, grade, and provenance. Some even track die states, noting how tiny cracks or die wear progress over the production run. In the 2018 D series, enthusiasts have cataloged several interesting die breaks on the reverse shield, sometimes forming small raised lines across the stripes. These features, though not rare enough to command huge premiums, offer insight into the life cycle of a working die, how pressure and repetition slowly shape steel and metal alike. The marketplace for modern pennies functions like a living ecosystem. At one end are everyday spenders who regard the coin as almost worthless. At the other, specialists who spend thousands on flawless or unusual examples. Between them lies a continuum of curiosity. Online forums teem with photographs, discussions, and analyses. One collector might post a close-up of a suspected doubled die. Another will compare it to reference images, pointing out microscopic markers that confirm or deny authenticity. Over time, a consensus emerges, and the community's shared knowledge grows. Beyond value, what keeps people engaged is the human connection to history. Lincoln's image reminds Americans of unity after division, of moral courage in the face of crisis. Holding a 2018 penny connects one to that narrative, a tactile link to the ideals etched into metal more than a century ago. Even in an era of digital money, there is something grounding about a physical coin. It carries weight, texture, and permanence, a reminder that history can be held between finger and thumb. For educators and historians, the 2018 penny provides a window into the story of the 2018 cent deepens once we enter the world of professional grading and authentication, a world where microscopes, reference catalogs, and human judgment converge to turn small differences into matters of intense value. When a coin leaves the mint, its surfaces carry microscopic traces of its creation. Those traces, die polish, flow lines, tiny contact marks, are the fingerprints experts study to separate the exceptional from the ordinary. Grading houses exist because the numismatic market depends on trust. In the early days of collecting, descriptions such as fine, very fine, or uncirculated were loosely applied, and disagreements often arose. Modern services standardize this with the Sheldon numerical scale from 1 to 70. On this continuum, a 1 represents a coin so worn that only outlines remain. A 70 designates absolute perfection, with no visible flaw even under 10 power magnification. The 2018 cent, being modern and mass-produced, normally grades high when fresh from a roll, but even there, the tiniest nick can make the difference between MS68 and MS69, between an ordinary example and a registry set gem. A registry set is an online showcase where collectors compete by submitting the highest graded coins certified by PCGS or NGC. For modern issues like the 2018 cent, competition can be fierce because thousands of collectors may submit coins in hopes of achieving the elusive perfect grade. Each submission represents hours of careful inspection, rolling coins under light, tilting them to detect surface chatter, and eliminating those with microscopic blemishes. The thrill of finally receiving a slab MS-70 coin, its label gleaming behind plastic, is comparable to unearthing a relic from antiquity, even though the coin was struck only a few years ago. Grading also provides protection against counterfeiting, a problem that grows as technology improves. While older rare coins are the main targets, even modern cents sometimes appear as altered counterfeits. Ordinary coins plated to mimic rare mint errors. Authentication specialists use X-ray fluorescence and metallurgical analysis to confirm the proper copper-plated zinc composition. The 2018 D-cent should contain roughly 2.5 grams of metal with a thin copper coating. Any deviation alerts experts to tampering or misplanchet strikes. When collectors hold a slab 2018 D penny labeled mint error, they hold evidence of an unrepeatable event. Some show broad strikes, where the collar that confines the planchet failed and the coin expanded outward. Others display dramatic off-centers, revealing blank areas beside a partial design. The rarest may show double denominations, where a cent was accidentally overstruck on a previously minted dime or foreign planchet. Each is a mechanical accident turned into art, a record of imperfection preserved in metal. Error coins appeal because they combine chance and creation. They remind us that even in systems built for precision, chaos leaves its mark. The Denver Mint's presses, engineered for uniformity, sometimes yield coins that escape the pattern. For collectors, finding one is a small rebellion against mass production, a reminder that uniqueness still exists. The economics of collecting turn on perception. When news spreads of a new discovery, say, a 2018 D-cent with a doubled die, the first few verified examples might sell for impressive sums. As more appear, prices stabilize. Market value is not fixed, it breathes with human enthusiasm. Dealers, graders, and hobbyists watch trends in online auctions, adjusting expectations week by week. Over time, price guides like the Red Book or the Numismatic News Price Guide incorporate this data, giving future collectors benchmarks for fair value. The $93 million rumor attached to the 2018 D-cent illustrates this dynamic and exaggerated form. Someone, somewhere, may have typed a listing with extra zeros, or a video title promising "worth millions," may have caught the algorithm's attention. The number spread faster than clarification ever could. It became folklore, a digital campfire story retold with conviction by people who wanted it to be true. Scholars of folklore recognize this as a modern version of the hidden treasure motif, ordinary objects harboring extraordinary wealth. While experts calmly explain that no verified sale approaches that amount, the myth's endurance shows how powerfully people desire miracles in familiar places. In truth, the real treasures of coin collecting lie in knowledge. Understanding how to distinguish machine doubling from true doubled dies, how to interpret die cracks, and how to read mint marks connects a person to the very machinery of history. A collector learns patience through magnification, resilience through rejection, and satisfaction through discovery. The 2018 D-cent becomes both subject and teacher. Numismatic study also reveals broader truths about American society. The persistence of the 1-cent coin in an age of digital money demonstrates the inertia of tradition. Every year, the mint produces billions of coins that cost more to make than their face value, largely because eliminating them would feel like erasing a familiar part of everyday life. The Lincoln cent endures because it embodies ideals, honesty, perseverance, unity, that Americans continue to value symbolically even if the coin's purchasing power has dwindled. Collectors often speak of the story in every coin. For the 2018 D-cent, that story includes the industrial roar of presses, the meticulous design of the Union shield, the faint signature of the engraver's hand translated through technology, and the journey from mint bag to cash register to pocket. Each nick and discoloration adds another chapter. A coin found in pristine condition years later is a tiny time capsule, untouched since it left the press, carrying within it the atmosphere of 2018, the politics, the economy, the collective mood of a nation still turning metal into meaning, education through coins continues to grow. Museums and mints host virtual tours where visitors can watch high-speed footage of planchets being fed, struck, and inspected. Teachers use pennies to explain density, composition, and the chemistry of oxidation. The 2018 D cent, though common, serves as a perfect tool. Its copper surface readily demonstrates how exposure to air and moisture forms patina, and its zinc core offers lessons in galvanic reaction when cut or scratched. Thus, the coin's value extends beyond collecting into science and pedagogy. In the professional realm, dealers handle countless 2018 D cents when assembling bulk lots for resale. They know that 99.999% of them will be ordinary, yet they still examine them because one coin may break the pattern. This ritual of searching mirrors gold panning, hours of labor for the chance of a glimmer. The satisfaction lies partly in the search itself. Among numismatists, conversations often turn philosophical. What gives value to a coin that can be reproduced by the billions? Some argue that value resides in rarity, others in condition, and still others in symbolism. The 2018 D cent manages to encompass all three in modest measure. Its rarity exists not in absolute numbers but in flawless examples. Its condition reflects care. Its symbolism, drawn from Lincoln and the Union Shield, encapsulates national ideals. A complete appreciation requires all these dimensions at once. The deeper one looks into the world of coins, the clearer it becomes that collecting is as much about people as it is about metal. The 2018 D cent may seem like a mechanical product, but the fascination it inspires arises from the human need to seek patterns, to preserve fragments of history, and to imagine the possibility of hidden worth. The psychology of collecting has always been entwined with the psychology of hope. Collectors describe the small thrill that comes with opening a fresh roll of pennies from the bank. The wrappers crackle, copper glints under light, and in that moment, the world narrows to the size of a coin's surface. Every rotation under the lens is a miniature adventure. Finding something unusual, a die chip that looks like an extra letter, a faint doubling on the date, provokes the same spark of discovery that archaeologists feel when uncovering artifacts buried for centuries. It is the joy of being the first to notice. This emotional charge explains why stories about extraordinary finds spread so quickly. Tales of a 2018 D penny supposedly worth $93 million flourish because they transform an everyday activity into a treasure hunt. The idea that life-changing wealth might hide in a handful of change gives ordinary moments a shimmer of possibility. Even when experts quietly clarify that no such sale has occurred, the story continues to circulate because it satisfies a deeper narrative. The dream that luck and observation can intersect to reward diligence. In reality, great discoveries in numismatics rarely involve modern coins achieving impossible prices. They more often involve subtle errors or varieties that reveal how a mint operated. When a new doubled die or misplaced mint mark is confirmed, it rewrites a small piece of minting history. The first collector to document it becomes part of that history. The 2018 D issue has already generated minor recognized varieties. Die breaks resembling cracks across the shield, plating blisters from microscopic air pockets. But none approach legendary status. Still, each variation feeds the collective curiosity that keeps the hobby alive. The passion for pennies has deep roots. For generations, Children filled blue cardboard folders with circular cutouts labeled for each year and mint. The 2018 D slot will one day sit beside the 2009 bicentennial designs and the earlier memorial reverses, completing a century-long visual record of change. The act of sliding a bright coin into its place is satisfying because it makes progress visible. The collection grows 1 cent at a time, echoing the incremental nature of savings and patience. Psychologists studying collecting behavior note that it provides structure and purpose. The search for completeness, the desire to fill every space in the album, mirrors broader human patterns of goal setting and achievement. In this sense, the 2018 D penny is not just an object but a step in a lifelong narrative of pursuit. Within online communities, collectors share discoveries, compare images, and debate minute distinctions. A photograph of a 2018 D cent with a curious mark can spark pages of analysis. Participants zoom in, adjust contrast, quote references, and sometimes disagree passionately over whether a feature qualifies as a doubled die or simple mechanical doubling. Through these discussions, collective expertise accumulates. Each argument refines understanding, turning personal fascination into communal knowledge. As technology advances, so too does the precision of observation. High-resolution scanners and digital microscopes allow enthusiasts to explore coins at the microscopic level. Under such magnification, the 2018 D cent reveals landscapes of ridges and valleys. Lincoln's cheek becomes a copper canyon, the shield stripes a field of crystalline grains. This magnified world reminds viewers that even mass-produced objects have individuality, shaped by microscopic variations in dye wear and pressure. The cultural resonance of Lincoln himself sustains the coin's emotional weight. His image has watched over more than a century of American life, surviving wars, recessions, and technological revolutions. On the 2018 D cent, his steady profile faces the right, the future, while the Union shield on the reverse anchors the nation's past. Together they form a symbolic dialogue between endurance and unity. Every time the mint refreshes dies or adjusts detail, engravers revisit that legacy, ensuring that Lincoln's presence remains both recognizable and contemporary. Collectors sometimes speak of coin karma, the mysterious way certain people seem to attract rare finds. Behind the superstition lies persistence. Those who search most often naturally discover more. The myth of the $93 million penny, while fantastical, captures that belief in cosmic reward. It keeps people looking, learning, and sharing stories. A myth, after all, can serve as a vessel for enthusiasm. Outside the collecting world, economists view the penny as a paradox. It costs more than a cent to manufacture, yet public affection resists its elimination. Surveys consistently show that Americans prefer keeping it, partly because rounding prices to the nearest nickel feels imprecise, partly because the coin carries sentimental value. The 2018 D cent thus occupies a liminal space between usefulness and nostalgia, between practicality and emotion. When we trace the life of a single 2018 D penny, we glimpse the scale of the monetary ecosystem. It might begin in a Denver press room, slide down steel chutes into bags, travel to a Federal Reserve vault, then to a bank in Kansas, a grocery store in Ohio, a vending machine in Florida. Along the way it exchanges countless hands, recording invisible fingerprints of commerce and daily life. Perhaps it ends up in a collector's folder decades later, still bright, still bearing the faint scent of copper. Each coin is a silent witness to human activity, circulating stories as well as value. Numismatics, at its heart, is a conversation between art and science. The art lies in design, the portrait, the lettering, the symbolism. The science lies in metallurgy, dye mechanics, and preservation. The 2018 D cent exemplifies this union. Its thin copper layer is electrochemically bonded to a zinc core with remarkable precision, a process refined over decades to prevent blistering and delamination. The resulting coin balances cost, durability, and aesthetics. When collectors study such details, they are in effect studying applied engineering as well as history. In the marketplace, perceptions shift with time. A coin dismissed as common today might become desirable tomorrow if new information emerges. The famous 1955 double die cent, once an unnoticed production mistake, now commands thousands. Could a hidden variety of the 2018 D someday achieve similar fame? It remains possible. Each year, researchers re examine coins, discover new die markers, and publish findings. The story of numismatics is open ended, written coin by coin. Meanwhile, social media continues to amplify fascination. Short videos showing close ups of coins spin across platforms, inviting viewers to check their pockets. Some creators focus on education, teaching how to distinguish genuine errors from optical illusions. Others emphasize the excitement of discovery, repeating headlines about incredible values. Between myth and fact, viewers learn, argue, and occasionally stumble into genuine research. In this way, even misinformation feeds a cycle of curiosity that ultimately enriches collective knowledge. Economically, coins like the 2018 D penny illustrate how perception of scarcity creates micro-markets. Rolls labeled unsearched sell online at premiums because buyers dream of finding an overlooked rarity. Dealers who specialize in modern errors meticulously catalog each coin, turning data into value. When an exceptional specimen appears, a flawless MS-70, a dramatic misstrike, it validates the entire pursuit, proving that treasures do exist among the mundane. Behind all this activity lies a deeper truth: coins persist, while human lives move on. A 2018 D cent will likely remain in circulation for decades, outlasting fashions. If we follow the Lincoln cent beyond the world of collectors and mint technicians, we find that it has seeped quietly into nearly every corner of American culture. The 2018 D penny, though minted only a few years ago, participates in a lineage that has become almost mythic. It shows up in classrooms, art projects, proverbs, and idioms. People speak of a penny for your thoughts, or of saving pennies, as shorthand for thrift. When a child bends to pick up a coin on the sidewalk, the gesture carries generations of superstition: heads for luck, tails for warning. The object itself is small, yet its presence in language and ritual far exceeds its material value. Artists have long used the Lincoln cent as raw material. Sculptors create mosaics out of thousands of pennies, using the subtle gradations of red and brown tone as a natural palette. Photographers capture the gleam of a single coin balanced on a newspaper headline as a comment on economy and memory. For them, the 2018 D penny is not just currency. It is a ready-made symbol of endurance in a disposable age. The copper sheen recalls warmth and humanity, contrasting with the cold neutrality of digital numbers. In this way, even as society moves toward contactless transactions, the physical coin keeps reasserting itself through ART.in classrooms. Teachers still use pennies to demonstrate history and science. They explain how the composition changed in 1982 from mostly copper to copper-plated zinc, why the change mattered economically, and how it can be tested by sound or magnetism. A 2018 D cent becomes a tangible link between past and present, the continuation of a design first created when Theodore Roosevelt sought to beautify America's coinage. Holding it, students learn not only about metal but about continuity, about the persistence of national symbols across a century of transformation. Numismatists often remark that the Lincoln cent is the longest-running design in U.S. coinage. That longevity is no accident. The combination of Lincoln's face and the Union Shield reverse captures the essence of the national narrative, the preservation of unity through struggle. The 2018 D issue, though modern in manufacture, carries that symbolism intact. Every raised line on the shield's 13 stripes tells of the colonies bound together. Every glint of copper echoes the determination of a people who believe in cohesion even amid difference. Economically, the penny's future remains uncertain. Some nations have already abandoned their smallest denominations, rounding prices to the nearest 5 or 10 units. In America, the debate resurfaces each time the mint releases production figures showing that a 1-cent coin costs more than 1 cent to make. Yet when polls ask citizens whether to abolish it, the answer is overwhelmingly no. Sentiment, not practicality, decides the matter. For many, removing the penny would feel like erasing a familiar friend from daily life. The 2018 D cent, then, sits at the heart of a cultural paradox, simultaneously obsolete and indispensable. Collectors watch this debate with mixed emotions. On one hand, discontinuation could make later issues more desirable. On the other, it would mark the end of a tradition they cherish. They imagine a future in which the last mint run of Lincoln cents becomes a modern legend, much like the final Morgan dollars of 1921 or the last silver issues of 1964. If the 2018 D coin ever gains such status, it will be because people look back and realize it belonged to the closing chapter of an era when physical change still mattered. In numismatic markets, perception often shifts long after production ends. The 2018 D cent currently trades for face value in circulation, perhaps a few dollars in perfect mint state. But if the penny were discontinued, collectors might return to earlier rolls, searching for pristine examples. History shows that when a series ends, even ordinary dates can acquire a nostalgic premium. The coin would transform from everyday object to artifact, a small relic of the last age of copper. Beyond collecting, pennies play roles in charitable and commemorative efforts. Drives such as Pennies for Patience or Pennies for Peace gather millions of small coins to fund research and humanitarian work. The 2018 D cent may have passed through one of these campaigns, its face brushed by the hands of children learning generosity. In that sense, each coin contributes to something larger than monetary value, a network of goodwill woven from humble means. Cultural historians sometimes call coins pocket monuments. They are miniature memorials that travel, carrying state imagery into everyday life. The 2018 D penny fits this description perfectly. Lincoln's image stands as a moving statue, replicated billions of times, distributed so widely that no citizen needs to visit a museum to encounter it. Its very ubiquity keeps memory alive. When someone spends or saves it, they participate in a silent act of remembrance. As the digital economy expands, coins acquire a new dimension of meaning. They become anchors of physicality in a world of abstraction. Touching a 2018 D cent is touching proof that value can be embodied, not merely coded. Even as payment apps replace wallets, people still keep small piles of change in drawers and cars, reluctant to discard them. Those coins serve as tactile reassurance that the world still has weight. For the mint and for historians, this endurance offers lessons. It shows that design matters, that symbols and stories can sustain an object beyond its economic rationale. The continued interest in the 2018 D penny, from collectors and casual observers alike, demonstrates how art and identity can transform a simple piece of metal into something approaching national poetry. Its worth may never approach the mythical $93 million whispered in online rumors, but its cultural value is immeasurable. One day, perhaps decades from now, someone will find a 2018 D cent preserved in a time capsule or forgotten drawer. The coin will bear the same features it carries today: Lincoln's calm gaze, the motto, "In God We Trust," the proud Union shield. To that future finder, it will speak of 2018, the technologies, the debates, the myths, and the dreams of the people who made and used it. They will turn it over in their fingers and feel a link to the century that preceded them. That is the real fortune hidden in every penny, connection across time. The myth of the multimillion-dollar penny endures because it encapsulates hope, but the truth behind the myth is richer. It reminds us that value is not always measured in currency. The 2018 D cent's true worth lies in what it represents: craftsmanship, history, and the quiet persistence of meaning in the smallest things. Each coin invites us to look closer, to notice the details we might otherwise overlook, and to remember that even in the vast machinery of modern life, beauty can still be minted in copper and zinc. As time passes, the story of the 2018 D penny begins to settle into a larger tapestry. Every generation of collectors has its ordinary miracle, a coin so common that people overlook it until curiosity brings it back into focus. In the 1940s it was the steel cent, in the 1950s the doubled die, in the 1970s the small date versus large date varieties. In the second decade of the 21st century, the 2018 D serves that role. Billions were struck, yet it continues to draw attention because people feel that something significant must hide within so vast a number. What keeps the interest alive is not only the possibility of error varieties but the symbolism embedded in the design. The Union Shield on the reverse functions almost like a mirror reflecting the state of the nation at any given moment. When citizens worry about division, the shield reminds them of unity. When the economy feels uncertain, the enduring presence of the penny reminds them that small contributions still matter. The 2018 D cent, minted in Denver's precise mechanical rhythm, carries that message silently in its coppery glow. From a metallurgical perspective, the coin is a marvel of efficiency. Each blank begins as a strip of zinc coated in copper to a thickness measured in microns. The mint's presses strike with pressures exceeding 60 tons, forming Lincoln's profile and the detailed lines of the shield in a fraction of a second. Every motion is calibrated, every die change logged. Yet within this industrial perfection, tiny irregularities creep in: minute die cracks, misaligned collars, slight doubling on letters. These are the imperfections that spark human fascination, turning mass production into individual discovery. Collectors understand that perfection, paradoxically, lies in the search rather than the find. The myth of a $93 million penny persists not because anyone expects to cash it in, but because it personifies the thrill of possibility. It is the modern version of the alchemist's dream, to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary through knowledge and patience. When someone posts a photo of a shiny 2018 D cent online asking, "Could this be the one?" they are really expressing hope that the world still hides surprises. In the broader landscape of currency, pennies represent continuity in a time of change. The rise of digital payment systems has shifted money from the tangible to the virtual. Screens now record transactions that once passed hand to hand. Against this backdrop, the 2018 D cent feels almost rebellious in its simplicity. It demands to be touched, to be weighed, to be heard clinking against its fellows. Each coin reasserts that value began as a physical agreement among people: metal for trust, weight for worth. Economists sometimes argue that eliminating the penny would streamline commerce, but culture resists logic when sentiment intervenes. Families still keep jars of spare change on kitchen counters, and within those jars rest countless 2018 D coins. They accumulate slowly, a record of daily life measured in copper. When someone finally sorts them, perhaps years later, they will notice the small variations in tone, some bright, some darkened by circulation, and realize that together they form a portrait of time itself. At coin shows, seasoned numismatists display trays of older cents under glass, but they also keep rolls of new issues for comparison. They invite younger visitors to open them, to feel the crisp edges of uncirculated coins. That tactile experience can ignite a lifetime interest. Many veteran collectors recall a single moment when a brand new penny first caught their eye under bright light. The 2018 D cent is now part of that initiation ritual for a new generation. It teaches patience, observation, and the discipline of care, skills that extend beyond collecting. The Denver Mint, where the 2018 D was produced, stands as one of the enduring temples of American craftsmanship. Behind its thick walls, engravers, machinists, and technicians continue a tradition that links them to the artisans of earlier centuries. Each year's output may number in the billions, yet the pride and precision remains personal. When workers speak of a successful production run, they speak with the quiet satisfaction of artists whose canvas is industrial steel. Their work ensures that the nation's smallest coin continues to embody the highest standards of detail. Numismatic scholars often remind audiences that the study of coins is also the study of history's texture. A 2018 D penny might not commemorate a battle or a famous anniversary, but it anchors the everyday life of its time, the year's policies, technologies, and cultural mood. In archives decades from now, Researchers may correlate mint totals with economic indicators, tracing how many cents were required to keep commerce flowing. Thus, even a modern penny becomes a data point in the story of civilization. In the collector market, graded examples of the 2018 D continue to populate auction listings. Most sell modestly, a few dollars each in the highest mint state. Occasionally a dramatic mint error, a broad strike missing rim, an off-center impression, or a bonded pair, fetches hundreds. Each sale generates discussion and fuels the belief that somewhere, hidden in circulation, lies a specimen so unusual that it could redefine the coin's perceived value. The mythic $93 million figure remains folklore, but folklore itself is a kind of treasure, binding the community through shared wonder. At its most profound, coin collecting teaches awareness. It slows the frantic pace of modern life by focusing attention on detail: the curve of a letter, the alignment of a rim, the subtle play of light across a relief. Handling a 2018 D penny invites contemplation of craftsmanship and continuity. The act of looking closely becomes almost meditative, a small rebellion against the disposable culture that produced the coin in the first place. As the century advances, the Lincoln cent's future is uncertain, but uncertainty is what keeps its story alive. Perhaps the mint will eventually. In the quiet after the myth fades, what remains of the 2018 D penny is its role as a witness. It has no voice, yet it speaks volumes about the people who made and used it. It speaks of engineers who calculated alloys, of designers who shaped Lincoln's likeness with reverence, of citizens who still value a symbol even when economics argue against it. To listen to such an object is to hear the hum of an entire society condensed into one circle of metal. Every coin tells two stories: the official one pressed into its face, and the unofficial one written by its journey. The official story is clear: United States of America, e pluribus unum, liberty, Indiana, God we trust, 2018 D. Those words and numbers announce authority, belief, and time. The unofficial story hides in scratches, in the wear along Lincoln's cheek, in the tiny edge nicks that mark where it collided with others in pockets and drawers. Each blemish is an encounter, a soda bought, a parking meter fed, a small kindness paid forward. When we see those marks, we glimpse the living economy that carried the coin through human hands. The fascination with an astronomical price tag, the $93 million whispered in digital rumor, has less to do with greed than with storytelling instinct. Humans are natural mythmakers. We elevate the ordinary to the extraordinary so that it can mirror our hopes. The idea that a simple 2018 D cent could be worth a fortune transforms the everyday into a fable about possibility. Even when collectors and experts patiently explain that no such sale ever occurred, people still share the tale because it makes them imagine. And imagination is a form of wealth that costs nothing. Behind the myth, genuine value exists in subtler forms. There is the educational value that draws students into the study of history and metallurgy. There is the emotional value that bonds families who search through jars of coins together. There is the archival value that allows future researchers to trace inflation, design changes, and public sentiment. These are not values that can be measured in dollars, but they are the reasons the penny endures. The Lincoln cent also reveals the long arc of design continuity. From Victor David Brenner's original 1909 portrait to the digital engravings of the modern mint, the face of Lincoln has evolved with technology yet retained its dignity. The 2018 D cent shows the latest stage of that evolution: sharper lines, refined typography, deeper relief that captures light more vividly. The shield reverse continues the conversation begun with the earlier wheat ears and memorial motifs, bridging the rural past, the civic mid-century, and the contemporary sense of unity. To trace this evolution is to trace how art and identity adapt together. In the context of collecting, the 2018 D penny has become a teaching tool. Dealers use it to show beginners how to grade surfaces, identify die states, and spot plating bubbles. Its abundance allows novices to practice without fear of loss. Yet within that abundance, rare anomalies hide: broad strikes, die caps, off-metal errors, each a reminder that even in a system built for precision, chance never disappears. The coexistence of order and accident mirrors life itself. As decades pass, the penny's role may change, but its symbolism will persist. If physical coins eventually vanish from daily use, the Lincoln cent will live on in collections, museums, and memory. Digital images of the 2018 D issue will circulate in archives and online exhibits, its coppery tones simulated on screens, its weight remembered rather than felt. People will speak of the time when money clinked and shimmered, when value could be held between two fingers. The 2018 D will become a shorthand for that tactile past. Cultural anthropologists already view coins as microtexts of civilization. They record iconography, language, and ideology in compact form. The inscriptions on the 2018 D penny encapsulate American faith in unity and divine trust. When future historians examine it, they will see not only a symbol of commerce but a moral statement cast in metal. They may read it as a small but enduring prayer that the ideals of a nation survive its fluctuations. In the end, what makes a coin remarkable is not rarity alone but resonance. The 2018 D penny resonates because it connects generations. A child might receive it as change for candy, a grandparent might set it aside for luck. Decades later, that same coin could resurface in a collector's album, linking those two moments. The continuum of touch and intention creates a lineage far richer than any monetary appraisal. Think of how many hearts and stories a single cent might have brushed. It could have fallen through the cracks of a theater seat during a first date, been pressed into a charity jar at a checkout counter, slid under a car seat to be found years later by another hand. Each scenario adds a layer of invisible narrative. When collectors romanticize the idea of the multimillion-dollar penny, they are really acknowledging that these hidden narratives feel priceless. The quiet beauty of numismatics lies in its paradox. People chase objects for their rarity but stay for their meaning. A 2018 D cent might never buy more than it did on the day it was minted, but it buys something else entirely: attention. It slows the observer, invites them to see, to compare, to wonder. In an age measured by speed, that pause is invaluable. So if one were to script the closing scene of this story, it might unfold like this. A shaft of afternoon light glints off a small coin resting on a table. The camera moves in slowly, the copper surface glowing with traces of use. The narrator's voice, soft but certain, explains that worth is a matter of perspective. Some see only a cent. Others see art, history, and continuity compressed into a circle no larger than an inch. The 2018 D penny reminds us that even in a world chasing digital dreams, meaning often hides in the smallest things we still choose to hold. That is the enduring lesson, the quiet miracle behind the myth. Not the $93 million rumor, not the promise of sudden wealth, but the discovery that value resides in perception and memory. Every 2018 D penny in every pocket carries that message, whispering that sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones we overlook until we finally take the time to see. The light fades, and with it the noise of the day. A single coin remains on the table, its copper face still catching the last flicker of the sun. The 2018 D penny has traveled far to arrive at this quiet moment. It has moved through machines, counters, and palms. It has slipped through time without complaint. What it carries now is not only the weight of zinc and copper, but the traces of every exchange that has given it purpose. When we look closely, we notice how the simple circle of metal reflects an entire civilization's story. In its design are the ideals of unity and faith, in its wear, the evidence of labor and routine. The 2018 D cent has become a diary written in scratches and shine. It is easy to forget that such diaries exist, that history is not confined to museums but lives in our pockets, in the jingle of change that accompanies every errand and conversation. Collectors will continue to search rolls, hoping for that one perfect example, yet even the unremarkable pieces play their part. They keep the dream alive, and dreams are what sustain collecting. The rumor of the $93 million penny will fade in and out of popularity, but it will always leave behind the same impulse that created it, the wish that ordinary things can surprise us. In that wish lies the heart of curiosity. Think of the billions of 2018 D cents still circulating, tiny ambassadors of a shared system of trust. Each one confirms, again and again, that cooperation works, that people still believe enough in each other to trade small discs of metal for goods, for favors, for smiles. That belief is older than the mint itself. The penny is simply its messenger. Somewhere, perhaps tonight, a child is turning over a coin under a desk lamp, seeing Lincoln's face magnified in curiosity. That child will ask questions about design, about history, about why so many people care about something so small. In seeking the answers, they will join a lineage of seekers that stretches back to the first minting presses of antiquity. The 2018 D penny, in its unassuming way, will have done what great teachers do, spark the desire to know more. Economists might one day decide that the penny's time is over, yet endings in history are rarely absolute. Symbols linger. Even when no longer minted, the Lincoln cent will continue to appear in drawers, in soil, in collections, in art. The 2018 D will survive as one of the countless echoes of that lineage, a timestamp in copper. People will still tell stories about it, how it was rumored to be worth millions, how it reminded them of their grandparents, how it represented patience in a world that moves too fast. And so, when the video's closing credits roll, the final image lingers on that single coin, its edge illuminated like a small horizon. The narrator's voice softens, speaking not of markets or myths but of meaning. Every coin we touch is a reminder that value begins with trust and imagination. The 2018 D penny may never be rare, but it will always be remarkable, because it proves that even the smallest things can carry the largest stories. If you ever find one, keep it for a moment. Feel its texture, its temperature, its quiet resilience. Listen to the history humming inside it. That sound, the faint ring of metal meeting light, is the sound of a story still being told. The camera fades to black. The music swells gently, a mixture of nostalgia and discovery. And as the final note holds, the audience understands that the film was never really about a penny at all. It was about attention, the act of looking closely, the courage to find wonder in the ordinary. The 2018 D cent simply showed the way. In the world that follows, coins begin to fade from daily use, replaced by invisible transactions that travel silently between devices. Yet the memory of them endures. Somewhere in that future, a handful of 2018 D pennies rest in jars and boxes, their copper still bright beneath a thin layer of dust. They are quiet reminders that value once had a face, a texture, a sound. Collectors of tomorrow will speak of them the way we speak of fossils, relics of an age when human touch completed every exchange. They will study the lettering, the shape of Lincoln's nose, the curve of the shield, and wonder what it felt like to buy something with a coin rather than a click. In that wondering, they will revive the emotions we once took for granted: patience, curiosity, care. Museums will display the 2018 D alongside its ancestors, the wheat ear cent, the steel cent, the memorial reverse, and visitors will trace the progression with awe. They will see how each generation left a mark on the design, how each iteration carried forward a sense of identity. For them, the penny will no longer be a unit of money but a chapter in a long visual poem about persistence. In classrooms, historians will tell students that myths once surrounded ordinary coins, that people imagined 1-cent pieces worth tens of millions. The students will laugh, but then they will pause. Because they will recognize in those myths something familiar, the same hunger for meaning that drives every age. They will understand that the legend of the $93 million penny was never about money. It was about imagination refusing to disappear. A few of those future students will decide to become collectors themselves. They will search old drawers, visit estate sales, and discover that holding a coin is holding time. Among their finds, they will surely encounter a 2018 D-cent, ordinary, common, yet radiant under light. They will slip it into an album, label it carefully, and feel that subtle thrill of connection across generations. In that act, the circle will close, and the story will continue, because collecting has never been about accumulation alone. It is about preserving stories, about reminding the present that it, too, will one day be history. The 2018 D penny stands as proof that every object, no matter how small, can carry echoes of an entire culture. When a future collector holds it, they will not see only a portrait of Lincoln, they will see reflections of us, our myths, our markets, our fascination with value. Even now, as we move further into a digital century, the simple gleam of copper still captures something essential. It asks us to slow down, to observe, to remember that meaning often hides in plain sight. Perhaps that is the truest legacy of the 2018 D-cent. It teaches patience in a restless age and offers continuity in a world obsessed with change. So the next time someone tells the story of the coin that was said to be worth $93 million, let them tell it with a smile. Let them say that it wasn't the number that mattered, it was the reminder that wonder still circulates. That, in itself, is priceless. The light fades completely now. The camera draws back from the small coin, leaving only the faint echo of its metallic ring. Somewhere beyond the frame, another hand picks up another penny, and the story begins again. Silence settles after the story, yet the image of the coin lingers. A single point of copper light turns slowly against a dark background, catching the faint reflection of the world around it. The 2018 D penny, humble and enduring, becomes a mirror in miniature. It reflects the people who dreamed, worked, and hoped within the span of its circulation. It holds the glow of factory lamps, the fingerprints of countless hands, and the imagination of everyone who ever wondered if it might be special. In that reflection lies the reason the coin endures. It reminds us that value is born not in the metal but in the meaning we give it. The myth of the multimillion-dollar penny may fade, yet the habit of looking closely, of searching for beauty in the smallest detail, will never fade. The search itself is the treasure. The voice grows softer now, almost a whisper. Every cent has a story. Every hand that holds it becomes part of that story. The 2018 D. Lincoln penny is not rare because of its price. It is rare because it still makes us pause, still makes us feel connected to one another across time. The coin tilts one last time, catching a final spark of light. The sound of that light seems to echo, a faint, musical ring that fades into stillness. The screen darkens, leaving only the memory of brightness. Words appear slowly, like an afterthought carried on the air. Value is where attention meets wonder, and then the music stops. The video ends. The story of the 2018 D penny continues wherever someone takes the time to look again, to listen again, to believe that even a cent can still shine.